Hello and welcome to the Veterans Cinema Podcast. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And this is the last episode in this podcast, as well as a bit of a bridge between now and our Christmas specials. And this is a Christmas movie, technically speaking, but it's also a veterans awareness movie, and it's one of the best. First Blood. This movie is an adaptation of a novel, although I've not read the novel, neither has Dan.
No.
But the movie is excellent and tragic.
Yes.
Rambo, we're just going to start off, did almost nothing wrong at the beginning. Essentially, he's a Métis American soldier, come back from Vietnam, suffering from quite a bit of PTSD, who's looking for his friend, I think it's Barry, and runs into the guy's pissed off wife, who basically tells him, get lost. She's not at all welcoming. And Rambo sadly walks off when he realizes the guy was dead. Actually, I really feel bad for that guy who died because, he had to look at that wife's face until his last moments because, when you got that kind of rage in you.
And she has ice in her veins because it's like, he looked like,
he looked like Simba when Mufasa died.
Like it was going to break down right there. And she still had to go
to basically scold him.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, Rambo then goes off to try to find himself something to eat and plan out his next step in life. When he gets harassed by a local town sheriff, Will Teasel, who proceeds to pick him up, drop him off outside of town, telling him he's pretty much trash and they don't want his sort, drifting through Hope, USA, or as Colonel Trautman puts it, Jerkwater, USA, which is a far more apt name.
Yeah.
Rambo decides, screw him, I'm going back into town. I'm going to find myself someplace to stay for the night because, it starts raining. He gets arrested for nothing, essentially loitering, which I didn't, really. He gets stripped naked, humiliated, and cleaned in very humiliating style that makes the Shawshank Redemption washing scene look like it's freaking paradise. And Rambo, nearly gets assaulted. They try to shave his neck, and they make it very clear they don't care if they end up cutting off an ear or slicing skin, except for Mitch, who's the ginger, who's going, well, you guys gotta cool off here.
Are we sure this is how we should do things? This seems a little harsh and excessive. If he was just brought in for vagrancy.
But they decide they're gonna shave him. But the problem is Rambo has flashbacks to Vietnam, where he was tortured, and beats the crap out of the cops, runs off into the woods, tries to placate them several times. That doesn't work. He tries to scale down a mountain. He's just shot at, jumps off the mountain into the forest, surviving somehow, using the foliage to break his fall. And the thing is, one of the deputies still keeps shooting at him. The mustachioed one who's a lunatic, who actually had the implication that he might actually sexually assault Rambo at a few points. And, of course, Rambo throws a rock at the helicopter, which is kind of almost humorous, as the helicopter pilot panics, tries to, get away, only for Moron to fall and die. Rambo, of course, now has technically legal blood on his hands, even though he hasn't done a thing, except defend himself from a murderer. And Rambo flees into the woods, has to survive for a bit. He sets up traps, scares Will the bejesus out of Will, wounds Mitch. Poor Mitch.
Yeah, he didn't deserve it.
He was an excellent chap known as Mitch.
I mean,
sorry,
he tried to say, let's leave this to the feds. It's like,
yeah,
this isn't worth it. We're street cops, not
we're a lowly sheriff's department. What the hell are we doing going against Green Beret?
It's like something that you'd send in SWAT for.
Well, I don't think SWAT would want to go into the forest like that.
I know.
Without a plan. But that's Will. He's incompetent. Samuel Trautman shows up, try to clean up the mess, and he comes with all the best one-liners. I'm just saying, like, you've got, what was it? God didn't make Rambo. I did. Damn, bro. What an entrance.
Yeah.
Then you've got, what was it? Oh, and apparently Mitch confessed the whole thing. So now, then it's hinted halfway through the movie, it's starting to get out that Will started everything. As did the guy who tried to shave Rambo. But real quick, the one-liners. I also like the, what was it? It's like, well, are you saying 200 guys aren't enough from William to Trautman? Hey, Trautman, you send that many men out there. Don't forget one thing. What? A healthy supply of body bags. Like, Trautman just has the best one-liners.
I know.
Movie. And the actor delivers them perfectly. Damn good actor. He should have gotten an award.
And because of the state police coming down, and
the National Guard,
everyone, they were breathing down Will's neck, and because Mitch confessed, now Will has to bring in Rambo alive to save what semblance of career he might have left.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do that. But the National Guard gets scared and spooked, despite Rambo running out of bullets. They try ordering a few men to get sent in to arrest him, but they're all scared.
It's like, nope.
We just do this on weekends, part time.
It's like,
so they decide to throw a missile launcher in the ring, and of course, Will gets angry at them. They think Rambo's dead for a time, but joke's on them. Rambo survived because he's Rambo, and Rambo. I'm saying that name too many times. Blows up a couple of buildings, a couple of electric poles, and busts into the police station. Knocks down Will for one last confrontation, only for Trautman to stop him from killing the sheriff. The sheriff would have deserved it, but Rambo would not have deserved to kill the man because he would have suffered for that for the rest of his days. And, well, Rambo then proceeds to break down sobbing to the utter shock of Trautman, who honestly was a bit stupid in that he thought that Rambo was still in his right frame of mind, not realizing that despite all the hints, John Rambo, or Johnny as they sometimes call him, has PTSD.
And what happened? It's like, here it is. Rambo's pretty much ranting a bit incoherently. And even
starts breaking down, sobbing, and grabbing at his colonel to just sweep into his arms. And while Trautman just looks like he doesn't know what to do. He's never expected this.
Part of him, I noticed that
he looked like he was going to cry.
Exactly, because his lip was quivering, and it's like it just dawned on him that
Rambo's broken.
No one extended compassion to him. Save Mitch.
Yes. But the thing is, even Mitch had limits there to his compassion. That was the problem. Rambo needed limitless pity, in a way. When I say pity, I mean the concept of sympathy. Mm-hmm. And what he needed was someone to just show 5 seconds of compassion, as Superman once put it, in a comic book.
To actually listen to him.
And it's interesting when he says, what was the line? Shit. I just saw the movie and I'm blanking now. But, he ends up saying, like, those maggots are protesting me at the airport. And then they end up spitting on me, screaming at me, and calling me all sorts of vile crap. And stuff like baby killer with it. And how could they know what I've been through unless they've been there? They've been me out there. And it's just gut-wrenching when he starts screaming that. Because you can see that all those things they screamed at him have gnawed at his soul. He may have put up a tough exterior, but deep down, he's not tough right now. He's at his lowest point, and he's breaking. And it's interesting how, like, you look into cinematic history, you look all across the history of cinema, like, you look at Rome, the series, Varenus very clearly had PTSD in that series. You look at, Wolverine, one could argue he kind of has it. Even Spider-Man in the 90s cartoon had it eventually. You look at Batman Begins, Bruce Wayne has it.
What was that movie with Robert the Bruce?
Oh, yeah. Robert the Bruce is what it's called.
Yeah, where...
The Bruce has PTSD early on. But the thing is, it's never, like, here it's truly gut-wrenching. When Rambo breaks down, it's almost never been as gut-wrenching as in this movie because you really see that Rambo wants to just return to civilian life. He doesn't want to get in anyone's way. But the thing is, he can't escape his demons. Because in a way, if you look at it thematically, the sheriff's just his demons chasing after him, hounding him, till he just breaks down and he can't handle it anymore. Now, on a less thematic level, what's really tragic is he's protested and spat on and treated like he doesn't belong. At the end of the movie, he has to walk through the crowds as the reporters are flashing cameras at him, and people are pointing at him and hollering over him or at him all over again. And he's under arrest.
Yeah,
and it's really tragic.
Because
this is the kind of Christmas movie where although the town is called Hope, there doesn't seem to be any hope. It does not paint the humanity in the best light. Yeah. And it's a very tragic movie. One of the most tragic. And, like, we started this podcast with The Last Samurai, where Nathan Algren very clearly has PTSD. And that was a very tragic and sad image of a broken man. But here, like, throughout the movie, Rambo's a little, he's not entirely there because he thinks he's in Nam to an extent. But then, in that last scene, you can see that, he's broken inside.
It's like, just a small act of kindness could have gone a long way with him. Like,
yeah.
Like, the sheriff's secretary. She felt bad for him, so she decided if she were to bring him a cup of coffee and a sandwich, that would make a lot of difference to Rambo.
Yes, but nobody did that for him. Or like a bartender just saying it's on the house. Now, the thing is, this is a veterans awareness movie. And I think it's the best one.
Yeah.
Out of all the veterans awareness movies out there.
The writer of the book may not have liked the movie, but the message is the same. We need compassion for our veterans.
And yeah, they deserve all the compassion in the world because a lot of them go through stuff us civilians couldn't possibly understand or appreciate.
And if we don't help them with their mental health,
well, that reflects on the rest of society.
And they end up
hurt damaged individuals,
and in some cases hurting others.
And
all because no one
gave them the compassion they deserve. And because a lot of these men are heroes. They just volunteer to do the right thing. They want to fight for their country, protect the values of their country. You look at the US, you look at Canada, Britain, like a lot of these nations, Japan, South Korea, all like France, all these countries, the veterans just want to do the right thing. They want to protect their homes. Now, the military is sometimes used for bureaucrats' greed. There's no denying that. But the veterans should not be held accountable for what someone in Washington or Ottawa or Paris or London, like they should not be held responsible for those guys wanting a new yacht or treating war like a game. The veterans, it is not a game. It is something they suffer through. And, like some of them come back physically damaged as well as emotionally and mentally. And, like, so many of these men, and women, to be fair, those women who do go out there, end up, like, going through hell. And then they come back and people call them all sorts of garbage, like baby killer or murderer, when here's the thing. Yes, they're killing. Now, that is wrong. The act of killing in every form is wrong. But they're doing it in self-defense. There is some degree of justification there. They're on a battlefield. What else are they supposed to do? They have no other options available. And a lot of soldiers do try to defuse situations. The problem is that you're in a war zone. You can't defuse every situation. You have to kill when necessary. You're a soldier. And the thing is, like, you also look at, honestly, I had a professor in one college I went to who was a veteran. Nice guy. He taught me video game writing and development. Great guy. Very gentle. Loves dogs. Honestly, he's 10 times the writer I'll ever be. Brilliant. Just utterly brilliant. Nicest guy on earth. But he served, I think, like 1 or 2 tours. And, like, he's honestly an inspiration as a human being. Because, like, I look at pictures of him on Facebook with his dogs. He's utterly gentle and whatnot. But the thing is, when I think, what if someone was to treat him like the sheriff treated Rambo in this movie? And it's just like, oh, that grinds my gears and gets my blood boiling.
I guess this movie is what caused the controversy behind the protest of the soldiers that came back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
There was some controversy that happened that criticized the way they treated the veterans.
Maybe. I hope it got people thinking like that because
I know that I have heard that there are conflicting opinions on the matter, and there are movements that say, hate the sin, don't hate the sinner. You could not like, it's entirely feasible not to accept what the government had done in Vietnam. But the soldiers
ought to be treated with a little human decency.
Exactly.
I agree.
And it's hard not to cry alongside Rambo.
Yeah, when he breaks down there. Yeah, it's like a heart-wrenching scene.
Mm-hmm.
I rank it probably in the top 15 most heartbreaking scenes in cinematic history.
Yeah.
Because this soldier has been through hell. And he's tough throughout the movie. Then in that scene, he finally breaks down, and he's just talking about, like, he's talking about how his buddy was blown up, or at least his lower body was, and Rambo ended up wearing some of it across his face and all over him. And then he spent the next few minutes trying to search for the guy's legs. But then he starts talking about the convertible they were going to drive till the wheels fell off over to Vegas. And it's just, he's bouncing between the two. Mm-hmm. He's incoherent.
You can't understand half of what he's saying.
But you do get a good idea of the promise him and his best friend made. And that death broke him.
Mm-hmm.
And as did the death of Barry.
Yeah.
And it's just, this is just heart-wrenching. This is a heart-wrenching movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can watch this and not feel anything for Rambo, you are a freaking heartless individual. I'm just saying, there's not a soul alive that I think wouldn't feel their heart break for Rambo in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
The dude just, honestly, like, the poor guy. And there's so many veterans who suffer in real life like that. And they deserve so much more than what they get most of the time. But you look at a lot of our greatest things in culture. have come from veterans. There's something
Mm-hmm.
that seems to, like, you look at uh, one of my favorite authors, Tolkien. He was a veteran. Christopher Tolkien, the greatest editor in history, was a veteran. His brother was a veteran. Hell, Tolkien buried half his childhood friends and half the people he knew off in La Somme.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got others like there's too many people that count. Lewis. You got the guy who wrote In Flanders Field. You've got
John McCrae.
Yep, John McCrae. Like, you look at Ike Eisenhower, probably the greatest U.S. president who ever lived. Ike will carry him off to Washington, D.C.
Oh, that song is very catchy.
But, like, a lot of these men have contributed so much to our civilization, and yet we take it all for granted when we shouldn't.
I guess there's a reason why a lot of vets turn to arts.
Yeah. And thank heavens they do, because like my mentor I mentioned, he is such a talented artist, such a talented writer. He's got like 1,000,001 dogs he's always got near him. Like, dude actually lives almost more like a native. What I mean by that is basically lives up in the woods almost. He hikes, he canoes to get everywhere and whatnot. He lives like a coureur de bois, a woodrunner. And he's so artistic. And I think he's got his own YouTube channel, which I should look up. Again, but the thing is, like, you look at all these different soldiers that are artistic, there's a reason, because they're expressing themselves. And I think that they're, I don't know how to say it, but like emptying their souls of the pain and releasing themselves of it. And I honestly can say, I think, now you can disagree with me if you want, but I have a high opinion of Sylvester Stallone for having helped write, champion, and pushed for this movie to be made.
Yes.
Him, the director, the writer, like, they all did great work. Every actor on this set did a good job. And they wanted this movie made to present a very strong image about, well, basically the message of, take care of our veterans. They need help too. And honestly, yeah, this movie is really good. So, you know what? We'll rate this. It feels a little crass to be rating it, but I'm going to rate this at least a 3.3. This is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's very hard to rate this because of but separating myself from the entire emotional matter, which is hard to do, I'd say a 4. Just like many other movies like Blackadder, it should be mandatory to watch in schools.
I agree. First Blood should be watched in high school by
agree.
everyone. Everyone should watch it and they should be asked, now what do you think? And like, this is how we should. This is not how we should treat our soldiers. We need to treat them better than this. And we should be teaching compassion and responsibility through films and literature like this.
Yeah, and it doesn't paint a good picture of cops, but we do need to also show that cops are in very similar situations at times.
Yeah.
And this isn't the movie to show respect to police officers.
No, that would probably be something else. Let me see. Maybe your average buddy cop movie. There's a million of them. But this is truly one of the most special movies out there. So if you like this video, do give it a like, comment. Tell us what your favorite First Blood moment is. And you know what? If you know a veteran, give him either a handshake or a hug, whichever he'll prefer. And
just do something for them out of kindness.
Yeah. So you can share and subscribe if you want. We're not going to press too hard. What's more important is taking care of our veterans and saluting these brave men and women who give their lives and their souls for their countries. We wouldn't have anything of what we have today without them. So heaven bless you all.